here's what we're starting with. So, I know I had one horse already fully created and stuff. My son got mad at me and I was cleaning dishes and he came over and just destroyed it all. Destroyed it. He reduced them to nothing but a mound of clay again. But it's alright. Honestly, I probably should have started out doing this anyways, because making horses one at a time, especially at how detailed I'm trying to go, would take forever. But it's fine. So, I mean, he may have not have been mad at me. It could have just been it wasn't an accident. He just wanted to play with the clay. I'm being over dramatic about the whole, he got mad at Mama. When honestly, no, it was just he wanted to play with the clay. But it's alright. I am going to go to Five Below and maybe get them some air dry clay. Just so they can, I might get him Play-Doh. My daughter does want some air dry clay. That's what she requested for Valentine's. So. I did buy her some flowers today because she's been dealing with a bully at school, and I thought maybe some flowers would make her happy. I was debating on whether to take it to the school and just kind of dropping it off, but maybe that'd be a little bit too on the nose. And it might even make her get bullied even worse, so I'm trying to avoid that. So. And then I will be taking her a bouquet of flowers and putting them in her room after this, before she gets home. I was thinking about maybe getting a box of some chocolates for her too. So, dealing with bullies is hard. And it's even harder for the adults because you're like, I don't know how to get it to stop, you know? I went and talked to the principal today about it. I even told her, I said, I'm about to file a police report on it to get it to stop because it's ridiculous. My daughter shouldn't have to go to school scared. Anyways, I know kids are mean to each other, but it's not right to be like that. And it's really not. You're only in school such a short time. And then the next thing that you know, you're going to be out into the world and you're going to be dealing with bills and dealing with work and dealing with all kinds of other stuff. And here y'all are spending your formative years just making each other miserable. Like, honey, you're gonna be miserable when you become an adult. Don't make yourselves miserable now. That's my point. Don't make yourselves miserable now. Okay? And besides, you want to be nice to people, be extremely kind, because right now, before you get all of that stress and stuff, is going to be of where you get most of your karma. And you want to stock up on that good karma, okay? So that when you do get maybe one of those unexpected bills in the mail, or if you get, bad news, you'll also have good karma to kind of counteract that. Okay? Help will come through. You don't want to sit here just being a bully, because bullies don't get help. They don't. And also, some of the people that you bully in school are the very ones that will stop on the street and help you. Okay? You don't know of what people are going to become in their lives. Be careful. And you shouldn't bully just because it's bad anyways, but be mindful, because the people that you do things to now could be the very ones that you need to come to your aid later on. Anyways. And that's why I usually tell Sapphire all the time. I'm made sure to tell her to be mindful of that. So she's always made sure to treat people with respect. And it just kind of makes me sad that she's not getting respect back. But it's... And I know some people will be like, well, that's character growth. But anyways, I don't even know why I'm talking about this right now. Just... So when you're shaping things with clay, make sure that you're paying attention. Like, it's better to grab like a book. Like if you're making a horse, go and grab a book and study of how like the muscles are formed. And if you can, even go out to like a farm, or sometimes you can go to a stable, and you can get hands-on experience with your subject. And then you can kind of go from there, because usually it's better to, if you get a hands-on experience with like horses and things like that, and if you're wanting to recreate them in clay, you can feel of how their muscles are formed and of how big their muscles are. And you can replicate that in your sculpting. So... kind of like, you know how like some artists will say, well, you can tell if when somebody truly loves a woman or truly loves a man, and they are sculpting that image. It is, and then they get extremely perfect because you know they've had a, anyways, they've been around that creature enough, or that person enough, or whatever. Anyways, when I would ride horses, I would make sure to, I had to check everything. So they're kind of the best things for me to create. Alright, never mind. Alright, so you just want to, right now at the stage, you're just forming your muscles definition, your muscle tones. Horses kind of like have a dip right here. So, right between where their forelegs go. And then there's also this large chest area right here that is formed. Anyways. So, right now I'm just dealing with building muscle definition and things like that. I am thinking, because I was at Michael's just yesterday, and I was walking around those beads. You know the beads that I'm talking about. They're like really, really pretty gemstones and things like that. And I was thinking, because I've been kind of struggling with the poles for the carousel horses. So I got to thinking, what if I took the beads and I bought a couple and I put them on wire and then ran them through the horses? So it'd be like beaded poles going up. And there was some very, very beautiful gemstone ones. So, anyways, I think it would be great and extremely unique and beautiful. I might even get a couple of the glass beads, the seed ones, to kind of stud the horses with, especially like around the saddles and stuff, just to add a little bit more detail and dimension to the piece. I don't know. You see, when you're creating things on your own, for your own use, you can go as expensive or as cheap as you want. And you can also take as long as you want to do it. So. Alright, so it's come to my attention the horse head is a little bit too long. Too big. So what I'm going to do is rip off that. I'm going to rip it in half. And then I'm going to form it again. Just to bring it down a little bit more proportionate to its body. So. I love working with clay. I do kind of miss doing ceramic and pottery classes, because anyways. All right. So this horse is finished. I'm going to add a little bit more on the side of the neck. Now, my son went through and he kind of destroyed the horse that I already had created. It's fine. I was cleaning dishes and he walked over here and just balled it all up into like a lump of clay again. Honestly, I was about to redo the horse anyways because I wasn't liking the way it was turning out. So, it's fine. It is perfectly fine. Sometimes that happens. Alright, now I've got to figure out something to do with this mane. If I do that, it should give me something to build on. Just a little bit. The thing about baked clay, though, is that oven-baked clay, so it's a little bit too forgiving. Like, I know that some people will be like, too forgiving? That doesn't make sense. But it is. It's like, the more that it heats up, the more easily it loses its shape. And when it does that, it kind of just gets annoying. But it's alright. Set that horse over there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let him cool off. I'm going to work on this horse a little bit more. Ooh, that is so much smaller. It's okay. This will be some horses are smaller than their counterparts. It's fine. Sometimes you run into a Percheron instead of a walking horse. Sometimes you run into a Morgan or a Haflinger. It's fine. What? I know I had to restart.
I know. I remember. He's coming to check your progress.
No, right now they look like a bunch of Nessies.
No, you don't get down.
He says, but you would take the cookies.
It feels like somebody's already gotten into the cookies this morning.
I haven't.
Go.
So right now I'm working on the saddle part of the horses. Yeah, what is it, girl? Come and see what we're doing. Sorry, had to take a kitty break. Oh. Careful. I could probably leave it just like that because, I mean, you really don't have stirrups. And it's really just so that they can sit. Yeah, I think I will just leave it like that. And then what I'll do is I will go through and make like little curlicues and stuff to kind of, oh, no girl, to kind of outline the saddles and stuff. So right now with the world so crazy, it's nice to have something that I can control in my hands. Crazy part is that sometimes I can't even control this. Where's the green stick? Right now I'm just laying out of what will be vines that are going to kind of go around the saddle. I want it to have roses, and then inside of the roses I want like little gemstones and things. I think now we'll go down to the witch shop, and I will get some semi-precious stones to maybe incorporate in this. They have them for fairly cheap, and honestly, they are so beautiful. We'll get some to represent protection, prosperity, health, and things like that. And it will kind of, because I don't really get witchy on here as much as I sometimes could. But art is the most powerful form of spellcasting, because as you're creating, you're putting like little bits of your piece of yourself into each piece. It's kind of like how when people used to knit, it was thought to hold a lot of power because, well, for one thing, the act of weaving is seen as spiritual protection. And, you know, as you are creating that blanket or sweater or whatever it is, if you look down, sometimes little pieces of your own hair will get caught up in the strands. So, and I mean, as you're working with clay, it kind of comes down to the same thing. Like little bits of your skin get, you know, interlocked into the clay too. So each thing that you create when you're doing this has little bits of your DNA into it. I always thought on Supernatural, you know, like where like they would go around looking for things that had like, you know, the ghost hair in it and stuff from when they were alive. I always was like, I don't know why they missed the quilt or the Afghan, because yeah, that stuff would have had it in there. It's just part of, sometimes it's unavoidable, and sometimes you don't even realize it. But it's kind of creepy. Some people will be like, well, I don't know if I want my great-grandmother's Afghans then. But then when you actually think about it, I mean, yeah, it's hair, yeah, it's DNA, but, you know, it's still little bits and pieces that are left behind of the one that you spent so much time with. So, mean, not to say that other forms of witchcraft isn't just as powerful. It's just creation is kind of even more so. It's why puppets and voodoo dolls and things of that nature kind of hold a little bit more power. Because they are created. So, anyways, if you didn't come for the witchcraft stuff, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't really practice divination, though. I just practice kind of herbalism and things like that of that category. But no speaking to the dead for me. I do not want to do that. The ghost that lives in our attic is enough for me. And I don't really speak to it. Other than to let it get out of my house when it makes a loud noise. No, honestly, it doesn't bother us. If anything, it's been hunting down the rats in the attic, so. Although I do know the thing that's up there isn't a rat. I don't know how much my husband keeps telling me, it's just rats. It sounds far too big to be a rat. Far too big. It's only creepy at night, though. When you're laying in bed and then you hear something move up above you. That's when it's creepy. But otherwise, it's pretty quiet during the day. It's probably sitting up there listening to me talk about it right now. It's okay. I said, and I do hold by this, but when we moved in, well, the day before I moved in, I was dropping off some stuff, and I did kind of introduce us to the house. And I did say, we come in peace. You can either accept us or you can leave. But we're not moving. And we are willing to welcome you as a family member, but that's, if you become violent, you've got to go. Something along those lines. Anyways. So far, everything has been quiet, though. I will say that. I'll hear movement in the attic, but otherwise, everything has been pretty quiet. We live in a very old cabin-style house, so maybe one day the person who owns it will let us buy it on contract. That's kind of wishful thinking. We do love it, though. Our home. Alright, there's some leaves. Of course, you can't really. You can probably tell a little bit.